So this video is going to be part 2 on our time scouting on October 28th in Brighton. And it again highlights the importance of in-season scouting to be able to find deer. You know, one question I get a lot is, how do I find deer? You know, I'm putting the time in the woods, getting the hours in the stand, but I'm not seeing any deer. And my first question always back to them is, what sign are you setting up on? What sign are you seeing? You know? And trying to help Chris out get his first deer, I wanted to be able to show him how to get on sign, how to find the sign, how to interpret it, and kind of run him through my thought process of, is this spot worth hunting right now? Is this spot worth hunting, you know, further on in the season, or just a spot worth checking out for spring scouting? So I kind of go into a little bit more depth on all of that. And then with the interpreting part, you know, kind of the differences between does and young bucks and big mature bucks. So we went to this spot that's on the east side of the access, just off the access. It's a little island, so we're at the south side of that island. When we got down, we worked our way up the eastern edge of that island to check for sign. It was a northwest wind coming in, so everything was blowing out into the marsh. There was a little point that had a bit of scrub brush and then what looked to be a hardwood island out there. So that's where we headed. So I came from the high ground over here, worked our way in, followed this trail because it looked a little interesting. It opened up into this clearing here. Coming into the clearing, you got a trail, one that goes over there. And then I saw this one up here that goes all the way up. There's one that cuts through here. So it looks like all that surrounding bedding, they're all working their way into this little clearing, kind of like a staging area, maybe. Found this good sized rub here. It's about knee high, not terribly high, but it's a nice thick tree. That rub looks pretty good. But following this trail back, comes out, splits. Here's another one right here. These two come together right up here. And you have this, highway, massive deer trail, signpost rub. But what makes me want to push in further are all those big mature trees out there. So know that there's going to be some high ground. If it was just going to be scrub brush, I would assume that's all bedding and they're coming in through this trail. But since I think there's going to be high ground out there, I'm going to follow this trail up and continue on to see what's up ahead. But it looks like everything from all those trees are coming through this one area. There's a couple other trails coming in from this side too, so they probably sweep around. But everything all meets up right here and funnels into that clearing there. Getting down at deer height, yes, there's a lot of travel that you can see. And all the tracks are pretty small. And if you think about it, how can a buck get the track? You know, a mature buck gets rack through here. And every one of these trails, we followed a couple different ones now. And they're all just tangled. They're decent sized doe tracks, but not crazy big buck tracks. So either the bucks aren't moving through here, they're using a different trail that we gotta find. As you saw, that little island kind of was buried under the tree, then led through to another clearing with some scrub brush and some big hardwoods. So as we were working our way up, we came back through. There's a ton of deer sign there. It would have been impossible to hunt past that clearing because it was so thick. So that clearing was a good funnel. So if you could get up in the trees that were there, that would be a great spot. Or underneath, you could sit on the ground and have everything come right to you. So I marked those 2 spots to check out further in the spring, but I believe those are going to be, that's going to be does and young bucks moving their way through there. So as we're moving up the eastern edge of this island, I noticed there was a clearing that was really close to a channel coming off the lake. And there looked to be a big thick trail through there. The channel wasn't very wide enough that I think you could get a small john boat down, you know, that deer wouldn't have a problem crossing. So I thought that might be their main crossing route, or it could be like a human access trail. So I was following this trail, and the lake is just right out there. And what I noticed, it was a pretty predominant trail. We had a clean cut stick. Clean cut. These are clean cut here, but these have since grown up. So it's been a minute since whoever cleared this trail has been back in here. Pretty deep. But what I'm thinking is the water's right there. And there's a little canal. This is perfect boat access. Park the boat there, walk in. You got your trail here to that clearing that we were just at. That's a great access point. This is that clearing that this access would lead to. Just littered with trails all throughout. I'm thinking this is early season while the grass is still standing and gives some cover. Under all these little overhanging trees or beds covered in leaves, so obviously they're old. You got like what looks to be a bed there. So this is a big bedding area, I think. Finally found our first scrape. Licking branch is pretty low, a little under chest high. The main branch is about chin high or so, but it looks decently fresh. I don't see any big scrapes in it, scrape marks. No big tracks, nothing like that. But it kind of rained last night, so it has not been freshened today. There's some poop. Yeah, let's see if we can find more. So that clearing looked to be a pretty interesting early season spot. When the grass is up high, the deer can bed in there, and then the trees that are growing over, when they're all leafed out, they can burrow up under there in like a little cave. It's all shaded, protects them from the heat, you know, that sort of thing. So that spot was definitely looking interesting to me. As we were walking, so we're on the north side of this island, we're on the east side, we were walking to the west, we came upon a scrape, and it was like, sweet, now we're finally onto something. Looked around in that scrape, couldn't see really anything else. So it wasn't anything that I wanted to like set up on that day. So we found the buck track and we followed that to the west. Now going to the west, on the edge of the marsh, there looked to be good deer travel through there. So that's where we headed to check out next. So we got what appears to be bedding through those scrub brushes there and there. The big wood lot across the railroad tracks there. Now all these are poplars in here. So some might not take this as a good sign, but you got a big rub there. You come into the trail that we just walked in on. You got one here, one up here. So they're following this trail in, rubbing as they go. But also, that one there, got a big signpost. They following this transition. Got a rub on that tree. Got a rub there. Got a rub there. And there are all these little trails coming in from all that bedding area out there. None of these rubs are fresh, but man, there's a lot of them there. Huge ones up there, but they're all on poplars. There's a fresh one.
transition edge is just right over there. We're just running into all these beds. There's 3 of them right there. This area is just littered with them.
So as we were working our way down that western edge, there were a ton of rubs. And as we got in just off the transition line into the little bit thicker brush, just bed after bed after bed after bed after bed. And when the beds are all kind of grouped up like that, I'm assuming that's going to be does, because does like to bed in a group, whereas bucks are more isolated. So based on that, none of the rubs were fresh. You know, there was 1 and 2 here and there that were fresh, but it wasn't consistent. So we kept on moving on. Now we left our bows and backpacks at that original funnel point that we went in on kind of that southeast corner. So we made our loop up and we had to come back. As we were coming up to that point, we walked into this big open green field kind of in the middle of the island. And I look up and there's 3 different stands. Now that's uncommon to have 3 stands, but it's not uncommon to have 1 stand on a clearing. I see stands all the time when I'm out scouting. And you got to remember that the normal hunter, or the traditional hunter, let's say, is they walk and they see this clearing, like, cool, this is going to pull deer in. Maybe they think it's like a food plot or something like that. They want to be able to see for a long distance. And what they don't realize is the deer aren't going to go through the open hardwood to this open clearing in daylight to eat. Sure, they're going to do it at night, but in maybe during the daylight you're going to get fawns that come out, or young 1.5-year-olds. A big mature buck definitely will not do that, and I would even argue that a mature doe wouldn't walk through there either. So looking at these setups, nothing of interest to us, nothing at all.
Camp on this little clearing there. Stand there. A ladder stand there. And a stand there. All 3 of them are hunting this clearing.
And yeah, there were a couple trails coming in, but it wasn't anything super defined. And what's interesting to think is that clearing was 100 yards or so from that point. So just 100 yards to the east, you just have all these trails funneling in to this one little area. So that right there shows, if you think like the average hunter and set up over that clearing, your chances are going to be very, very low. If you do a little bit of scouting, go through the brush, kind of push through, find your way, find where everything meets up, I can almost guarantee you're going to see a lot more deer, get a lot more action. You set up on sign versus what looks to be a good area. You have to have proof that it's a good area. So we grabbed our gear, we made our way back to the access and kept walking north. There were 2 more islands that I wanted to check out. The first one, as we were walking up to it, you could just see the trail coming right in, and kind of a little hole in the brush. And I thought, okay, this could be good.
So this is kind of the last spot we're checking out in this area. You see a trail here. See there, you got another caved trail through there. Another one right through there. It's hard to see, but another one right there. Yeah, there's gonna be some activity here. I don't think anyone's getting back here. Huge trail coming in, huge trail. They connect back there. This one splits up and goes there. There's one that goes there. There's some, so this whole bedding area, the hardwoods are just on the other side here. They all filter through here, come to this one point on this island.
That island had a couple oaks on it and everything, and there was crazy amount of trails coming in. What my initial thoughts was that when the acorns were dropping, they were all filtering in to eat those acorns. Past the island, there was some scrub brush in between in a bowl, so that's definitely going to be some bedding in there. I didn't see any rubs or any scrapes on the island, nothing coming in that would lead me to think that a buck is traveling through this island every day. So again, this was very, very hot deer sign. Everything looked really good funneling into this area. Could be an early season spot due to the oaks, not sure, but it wasn't the type of deer that we were after. So mark that island as a spot to check out again, and then we continued up to that second island. The second island was exactly the same. A lot of trails coming in, going out, oaks on the island, bedding on the other side of it. So it's definitely it's definitely 3 spots that are really, really good for does and young bucks, in my opinion, traveling through that initial funnel and the 2 islands. Northeast Clearing was one that looks of interest as well that I definitely need to check out. But if I were to set up to try to get a deer right now, I would hunt each one of those funnels. First one, make my way up to the second island, make my way up to the third island. Don't know about that clearing. I don't know if I would hunt it. That'd probably be my 4th one if I was stuck. If I didn't find anything else, I'd probably do that. But I would definitely want to check out all 4 of those spots again in the spring. So I hope this video was helpful in teaching you how to find sign, how to identify that sign, what you're looking for, and kind of my thoughts that when I break down those areas.